Hi, welcome back to Faith and Conviction, and I'm your host, Ray Harris. I want to welcome you to this week's Torah portion. We are now in Torah portion 50. We have this one and 4 more to go, and we'll be finished with this year. I think you'll like this. This one is very similar to last week's, and we're going to look at this particular word. And this one has a different application, but pretty much the same Greek kind of style. So this one is Parashah 50. It's Tavo. In the Hebrew, it means when you come in, and it's from Devarim, which means in English words. We know the book is Deuteronomy. It's chapter 26 verse 1 through chapter 29 verse 8 or verse 9, depending on which translation you're looking at. So we're looking at our keywords, and it's the second and third keyword in verse 1 of Deuteronomy 26. Again, last week, key, we looked at that, and it's Hebrew word H3588. So go back to that Torah portion and see what that word is. For this week's Torah portion, our second key word is connected to Tavo, is over to H935. H935. Tavo helps us understand it in Brown Driver Briggs: to go in, to enter in, to come in, like you come into a room. Okay, so the King James has in the Hebrew translated this, I think if I count this right, over 2,500 times, if the count in the eSword is correct. That's a tremendous amount. It gets translated with these verbs: enter, entered, brought, bring, go, went, and a whole bunch of other stuff. In this one Torah portion, the word English is translated into English as the word come in Deuteronomy 26 verse 1, 26 verse 3, 28 verse 2, 28:15, 28:45, and translated as brought in Deuteronomy 26 verse 9 and 10. So that's just a real short bird's eye view, and there's probably more instances of it here in this Torah portion, but I just wanted to give a little bit of what's going on. At 2,500 instances, we could be here a lot, and we don't really want to do that. We just want to narrow it down to what's going on with this word. So the King James says, and I'm narrowing down the verse, when thou art come in unto the land. Now, the Complete Jewish Bible says, when you have come to the land. Now, we have been looking at 2 different versions of this. In the eSword, I have a 1917 of the Complete Jewish Bible, and it says, when you art come in unto the land. And this one here says, when you enter the land. And the Apostolic Bible Polyglot has atan, ace elthes, ace tain gain, which translates over into the Apostolic Bible Polyglot, whenever you should enter into the land. And it's ace elthes that we're going to be looking at, and that is Greek number G1525. So it's very similar to last week's word, which meant to go out. Okay, so ace elthes, it's found several different times in the New Testament. The eSword King James Concordance tells us it's in there about 190 times. I looked for the exact same spelling that I could find here in this Torah portion with this word here in Deuteronomy 26 verse 1. It is found in several different verses, but I really wanted to only look at Matthew 8:8. In the King James it says, the centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou should come. The Apostolic Polyglot says, should enter under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. So it's very interesting. We go back to Moses, and what we have is Moses saying, when you enter into the land. And by the time Jesus arrives, they had been in the land. They had Assyrians and Babylonians, but they had come back. And Jesus is over here with this centurion, and the centurion says, you don't have to enter into my house. This doesn't have anything really to do about entering physically, because as the narrative goes on, it's about how to understand the authority of what is spoken. But I want us to see in this use of this word that Moses brings them this way and says, when you go into the land. And Jesus over here with the centurion says, you don't have to enter into my house. But he could have entered into his house. The centurion is the one who said that you don't have to. So God can allow his people to go into a land. He can allow his people to go into a house. Or someone can not allow you to enter into a house. These are the interesting things with the plays on these words. Are you going to go in? Are you going to go out? When you come in, when you go out. These are the things that we're doing. These are the things which are cool. We learn these because we look at the Hebrew. We see the Greek translation of that Hebrew. We come over here into the English of the New Testament. But we're not looking at the English per se. We're looking at the Greek because we want to see what that Greek is doing. And the way we understand that Greek is to see the Greek here of the Old Testament, which translates the Hebrew. It's all connecting. It is a step. It's a multi-step process. It's an important step. But without looking at these things, we're only getting a little bit of the picture when we look at the English. So when we see Hebrew and we see why Greek is doing what it's doing, we get to see more powerfully the power of Moses and the power of Messiah, and why these two men are working together to point to the glory of God, which is to your benefit and mine. So I hope it's been a blessing this week. Until next time, continue to seek God, know Messiah, find hope.